I don't know what's scarier, a haunted hotel or being stuck in a dead-end job in said hotel. This week we ask, is The Innkeepers a good movie? Hi, and welcome back to our podcast, where every week we're on a quest to curate the best movie collection in a time when your favorite movies are constantly fluctuating through multiple streaming services. It is important to decide which movie has earned a spot in the collection. So join us every week as we ask the question, but is it a good movie? I'm your host, Ish, and with me is my co-host, Nick.
Hi, that is me. I do not own any movies in a movie collection. I'm just here for the ride.
All right, Nick. So, this week we watched The Innkeepers.
Which, we had options of Crawl and Scooby-Doo, and we got this movie.
It's a ghost story for the minimum wage.
Yeah.
That's the tagline on the poster.
No way, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is the one part of... Yeah, that fits. That fits 100%.
So, this was, I would say our first spooky movie.
Yeah. Also our first, very low budget movie.
Yeah. So, I have a little intro for the movie that I wrote myself.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Let me set the mood. Got my flashlight on. All right, Nick.
It was a night much like tonight, here at the Yankee Peddler Inn.
Oh my god.
The old inn has seen many, with its ancient halls, elegant decor, and with an air of mystery that has bore witness to a tragic accident that ends with the demise of an innocent soul. The dark and mysterious inn has been filled with stories through the years of a pale spirit wandering the halls, seeking her husband. The spirit's name was Madeline O'Malley. Some say, if you look closely, you could see her roaming the halls, with her eyes rolled over and in a tattered wedding gown. If you stop and listen, you might hear her cries warning you of a fate that might not be if you heed this tale. And always remember to stay away from the basement. Ooh.
And side note, also always get your bellhop to stock your fucking room with towels.
Yeah, that is the most important take of this movie. So, as I said, this movie is a spooky movie. I would describe it best as Clerks meets Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It's a story about these two middle-wage clerks. We have Claire and Luke.
Yeah.
Who are holding the fort down on the last weekend of this inn's life.
Yeah, so the inn's shutting down finally after being... we didn't really know exactly what year this movie takes place in.
I was listening to some interviews, and it takes place in modern time, so 2011.
2011. Okay. So it's been open for quite a while because they reopened it in the 60s.
Yep.
When it shut down after the tragedy.
Said tragedy was Madeline O'Malley in the 1800s died, and the inn decided to hide her body in the basement. And it came out that they did that, so they closed the inn down, only to be reopened in the 60s.
Which is such a fucked thing. It's just nowadays, when you hear about people getting hurt at workplaces and they try to cover it up and shit.
Oh yeah.
So she had the wedding at the Yankee Peddler, and she got stood up on the altar, and then that's when she decided to kill herself.
Yes, she hung herself.
Yes. So she died in the 1800s. Oh my god. So that just makes... We'll get to it. That just makes one part of the movie make no sense.
Yeah. So this movie was made by Ty West. I don't know if you're familiar with his work.
I am.
Yeah. So he made The Roost, The House of the Devil, and his newest movie is X,
which is something I really want to see.
So here's a little crossover for you, Nick. So I don't know if you knew this, but Ty West went to film school in New York. While he was there, one of his professors was Kelly Reichert.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that name.
It sounds really familiar.
She made First Cow.
Oh my god, no way.
So she was one of his professors, and while he was at film school, Kelly introduced Ty to one of Kelly's friends, which was a producer on one of her movies. And because of that, I think he saw a movie that he really liked that that guy did. The guy's name was Larry Fessenden. So while Kelly gave him like an opening to meet this guy, right? So he asked Ty, like, hey, what are you going to do now that you're out of film school? And Ty responded with, I don't know, maybe move to LA, write a script, do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And they responded with, well, if the only thing stopping you from making a movie is money, what if I'm to give you some money? Like, would you make a movie? And Ty was like, yeah. And he lied and said he had a script that he just needs to polish for the weekend. And so what he ended up doing is he went home that night and wrote a script in the weekend, delivered it on a Monday, and the guy liked it enough to give him $50,000 to make his first movie. So Ty went on and like called in a bunch of favors that he owed. He like called someone. He was like, hey, all those favors that you were like, hey, just call me whenever. Yeah, well, I'm calling in those favors now. And
damn.
He called, and so he got his locations and stuff like that, and he was able to make his first movie. So that is Ty West's start of his career.
Yeah.
He's always been this guy that's like, he likes to write, edit, direct his movies. He likes to have a lot of control in it. He has like this quote that I really like, which was, he says that it's not hard to make a movie. It's just really easy not to make one.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. And he made his first movie when he was only 22.
So that's this movie?
No, it was The Roost.
Okay.
Yeah, so I believe this Innkeepers might be his like third or fourth movie.
Okay. Because I haven't seen Rooster, his other like earlier movies, but I thought I thought you're getting to the point that this was his first movie. Mm-mm. And I was gonna say, this is not a bad first, directorial debut.
Yeah.
But,
So he made this movie because when he was making his previous movie, The House of the Devil, I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
He made that one because while they were filming that movie, they stayed at an inn that was 40 minutes away. And while they were staying there, they had some like spooky experiences and stuff. So once they wrapped up the movie, The House of the Devil, he instantly knew what his new project was going to be. It was going to be this movie about this story. He knew where to film it, which is, here's a fun fact for you. This inn is a real inn in Connecticut.
Oh, the Yankee Peddler?
Mm-hmm. The Yankee Peddler Inn. It's a real inn. That's the actual name. Shit. When they filmed the movie, he called up the Yankee Peddler Inn. They're like, yeah, you could film it, but you need to film it when we're not busy. So
okay.
I think they only had like, I can't remember if they said it was 18 days or something to film it, but when they filmed the movie, they filmed it. All the crew stayed at the inn. So they slept there, worked there, they ate their dinners in the dining hall. All like the decor of that movie is actually how the inn looked. If you could go visit the inn now, and Ty says that it looks just like if you're stepping into the movie. And like even the employees are wearing the same uniforms that Claire and Luke wore. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a little backstory on how this movie was made.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with too much of his like movies and stuff like that. But I do have to say that this one, it's not like the worst movie I've ever seen. But it feels very homey.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, this is like another instance of like kind of like a chill movie. Even though it's a spooky movie, it's pretty like chill. And I feel like we've had like a couple movies in a row, or like at least that we've done so far, that have been just kind of like chill.
Yeah.
Like mild.
Yeah, I think when he was making this movie, he really wanted to have control of like everything that was going on.
Gotcha.
So this is like his movie. I don't think he intentionally tried to make it as goofy as it came off.
Yeah,
but it kind of works in a way.
Yeah, it does give like a, not like a cheesiness, but it does kind of give like a realness to it. Like, I don't know how many times like at like my jobs I've had like where I've done similar things, and probably someone was filming me, they'll be like, have you ever just watched Nick do stuff?
Yeah.
And you're like, I probably have fumbled like doing stupid shit like that all the time.
Yeah, like all the characters in this movie, I could see them like being people that I've like previously worked with or something. They like play the role very well.
Yeah, like they'll exist in this Innkeepers universe.
Yeah.
Which is like not even like a special universe. Like this just feels like real life. And like now that you said that, this was like exactly how the Yankee Peddler was and stuff like that, and how authentic they kept it. I think they kept all the characters pretty like real. Yeah. Down to earth. Like no one was like absurd. Which was nice.
No, yeah, I was listening to a lot of interviews about this movie, and the main girl, her name is like Sara Paxton. She's been in a couple of movies. She's been in the remake of The Last House on the Left.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And she's been in like some like Disney stuff.
Yeah. I know one of the people we were watching the movie with was like, oh, I know her from the Disney Channel.
Yeah. And she was saying how this character, Claire, is just like an exaggerated version of herself. Like that's how like goofy she is in like real life and stuff. And what's kind of cool about this movie is when they were filming this movie and she found out that the hotel that they were going to be staying at is actually haunted, she didn't want to stay there. She wanted to be like in another hotel.
Oh damn!
But the director was like, "No, you get to stay here with the rest of the cast. It's gonna like
it'd be
like
fun.
A whole experience." Yeah. So she did it. She said she had like some spooky stuff happen where like her TV would randomly turn on and stuff like that.
Oh.
So a lot of like her reactions and her like vibe that she gives off is genuine because she was actually kind of spooked out by the hotel.
I can see that. I feel like, I don't really believe in too much supernatural stuff, but I feel like if you tell someone, hey, this place is haunted, they're gonna be expecting something. So I feel like if you're ever gonna take someone to like a haunted place, I'd always be like, don't tell them it's haunted. See if they like, you're like, oh, I got a weird vibe from this place.
So like, this is essentially a haunted house movie, which I dig.
Haunted hotel.
Jesus. I think that's my favorite genre of horror movies is like the supernatural, like haunted movies.
Yeah, I feel like when Insidious came out, it like, I think haunted house movies were already like mainstream kind of, but I feel like Insidious really put them on the map.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then when we got like a bunch of Insidious and then Conjuring movies and Annabelle, I was like, oh, stop.
Yeah. Well, this one came out 2011. I can't remember when the Insidious came out.
I feel like 2010s area. Not sure if it came out before or after this. But
I know it came out around the same time as like Sinister and stuff.
Yeah.
Which was another like haunted
house, like a haunted object movie.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm always down when it comes to like haunted houses or haunted hotels, which I kind of liked. And I liked how this one had like a different take on that genre. Yeah. And so I've heard it like this genre be referred to as like mumblecore or like mumblegore, where it's like nothing like truly happens. It's like a lot of dialogue based and like character based kind of movies.
Mumblegore?
Core.
Oh, core.
Or I think the horror genre is like mumblegore.
Oh, that's so funny. So it's like a slow burn horror movie.
Yeah, which is what this is. After watching this movie, I went back and watched The House of the Devil because I've seen that movie years ago. I think when I was in high school. So I kind of wanted just to refresh myself a little bit on the movie, and it's very similar in like the pacing. It's a very slow burn movie. I believe that one might be a little bit scarier. It almost seemed like that was like his thing, and then he tried to like diverge a little bit in Innkeepers. Okay. But it still stayed very similar. When he filmed The House of the Devil, they shot that on 16 millimeter. So it feels like an 80s movie.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, like even from the opening title card and everything, it's like bright orange text, and it feels very cool. It feels like you're watching a movie that was filmed in the 80s.
That's
because
sick.
of like how like well constructed the story was, almost to the point where like I wanted to like Google some of the actors. Like I haven't seen them in a while, so I wonder like what they're doing. But it's like no, it's pretty new, and I think this one they shot on like 32 millimeter or something. So he likes to shoot in film.
Yeah, you could tell it has like a little like graininess to it,
Which I liked because we didn't watch this. This is the first movie we watched that wasn't on Blu-ray. We watched it on DVD, and I couldn't really tell like the difference of quality just because I guess it is film. So like film always looks better than digital.
Yeah, the colors looked a little muted in this movie, but I feel like it all fit the tone pretty well. So
Nick, I want to ask you, do you believe in ghosts?
like to a point,
Do you have any experiences?
like one time in my mom's old house, I had like an experience. There was like the house was in 3 floors, and I was on the 2nd floor. Right above me was the attic, and I heard like a drop, something fall.
Ooh.
And you know, I had squirrels and birds in my attic, so I was like nothing about it. But then after that happened, then it was like footsteps like above me, and you know, I'm the white guy that's gonna go find and investigate noises in horror movies and die most likely. So I ran up the stairs. I was like, I want to see what that is, and so where I was standing in my room, and then above me, it was like a tote of like old shoes, and that tipped over, and there was my dad's old work boots, and they're like standing straight up in like a walking position, like away from like where it was, and I was like, ooh,
that's spooky.
Yeah, and I guess just to give a little my dad did pass away, so maybe it was him.
Oh,
you know,
man,
spooky.
Ooh, that kind of gave me chills. I feel like me personally, I don't know if I believe in ghosts, but I feel like I've had enough experiences to the point where it's like, I don't know why I don't fully commit to like the belief of ghosts.
Yeah.
I used to live in a house in Vista, California, and while I was staying there, that house had a bunch of like spooky stuff happen. Like sometimes we would come home and we would let our dogs out, and when we came back, they were inside the house, but like all the doors were locked because we had like a sliding glass door, but that was closed and locked. So it's like, how'd they get in?
Oh my god.
Yeah, and there was one time where I had my cousin sleep over, and me and my older cousin were sleeping in the living room because we were watching like scary movies and stuff. And while we were sleeping, my older cousin woke up and he thought one of my siblings was like messing with us because he saw like a small figure like come like near us and like lay in between us. So him being like the older kind of like jerkier cousin like went to punch like whoever he thought it was, but his like fist went through it. And he like got up and like woke me up. He was like, "Oh my god, there's something is going on!" And we both bolted to the room where we woke up our other cousin, and we were like, "There's a ghost out there!" And we made her get up and like go turn off the TV because we were too scared to go turn it off.
Oh man.
Yeah. So like
that's funny.
Yeah, my dad went around and like blessed the house and threw holy water, but we must have lived in the house for less than a year, and then we were like, no, we're out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys like actually left because of
because my dad was like, no, there's too many like things that he can't explain.
Oh wow. So like you're the family that like would end the supernatural movie pretty quick.
Oh yeah, that's always been like how me and my family roll. It's like, oh yeah, we're not gonna investigate that, we're out.
Nice. You wouldn't bring in an exorcism or something?
Yeah.
Exorcist.
So, another question I have for you is, if you had the chance to stay at a hotel like this, you would?
100%.
Oh, man, why?
Because, so I'm on the point of where it's like, all right, like my experience with that, with like my mom's old house and stuff, and like the couple like weird things is like, I don't need like to see proof on camera. It's more or less, if someone tells me it's haunted, I'm going to be looking for it, obviously. But like I said before, if they were like, yo, Nick, here, you're going to stay at this hotel, I'd be like, all right, I'll go. And they did not tell me it was haunted, and then shit happened. I would believe.
Really?
Because when you tell someone like, hey, this movie's scary, you're going to be expecting jump scares and stuff like that. But if someone just goes, oh, this movie's a classic, watch it. And then all of a sudden it gets you. Yeah. It's like, fuck, it's kind of like, shit, it's scary, you know? So I feel like it's kind of one of those, like, you're too caught up in, like, expecting shit to happen. Like you want the TV to turn on, or you want shit to move, or you want to hear the piano or the crying of the old lady. Yeah. So, like, if you don't know any of that shit's gonna happen, then you start second guessing what the fuck is going on. So I feel like that's why I would do it.
Yeah. See, I would maybe visit. I would visit. I would never stay.
I'd stay for a night or two.
No, man. Like, when I found out that this place was real and it's in Connecticut, it was like, that's not too far from where we are. I was like, oh, I kind of want to go check it out. I guess it's like, it has like a bar attached to it and stuff.
I wonder if it gets a lot of business now.
From what I researched, not really. It's a 2-star hotel.
Could you imagine going now? They'd be like, I saw this movie, Innkeepers, and they're like, oh, they roll their eyes like, whatever.
Yeah, I am curious just to, like, walk in, because while we were watching the movie, I will say, like, the hotel, since there aren't that many characters in this movie, the hotel kind of played a character in its own.
I'm not gonna lie, that hotel is kind of, like, dingy as fuck.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I like how it looks like a hotel that hasn't been, like, renovated in years.
Oh my god, no! It looks like an old style like bed and breakfast. And like there's like a shot of like the hallway and then like the 2 rooms on like corner rooms. And I was like, I've never seen that in my entire life.
Yeah, it looks like an old house. That was like
just like reconstructed into a hotel.
So I want to get to like some points of the movie. I feel like we have like different opinions like
I think so.
How this movie was. So did you think this movie was scary?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all.
Did you think it had like some scary elements of it?
Not scary. No? Spooky, I guess. It had like it had like the normal ghost tendencies, but once we made halfway through the movie, I knew we weren't going to get too much because it's set up like a play. Yeah. Set up in 3 acts, and then we get like an epilogue. So like when we got to act 2 and like not a lot happened, I was like, we're not going to get anything till act 3. Yeah. And that's just the way it is. Usually in plays, you don't get your climax till like the end. Yeah.
See, yeah, I agree with that. I feel like this movie was pretty comedic and goofy. Like, yeah, kind of like Ghostbusters. Like they were trying to like solve like this mystery.
More like Ghost Hunters on like Discovery Channel.
And it's like that up until a certain point where it starts turning into like a horror movie, essentially. Not like a very scary horror movie, but it changes like the vibe of the whole movie. Which I've heard that's how X is, his new movie. Ooh. X in like the beginning is like kind of comedic at parts. And then all of a sudden, like, shit hits the fan, and it, like, changes completely.
Yeah, see, that's what I kind of wanted. I wanted shit to hit the fan. But the shit that, quote-unquote, hits the fan is, like, very, like, okay, what's happening? And then he doesn't show us a lot of, like, the ending, It's just kind of, like, a lot of banging and screaming, and then, like... one character's face is close to the screen and then another one and then switches back and forth. Then boom, cops arrive. Yeah. And I guess that's okay.
Yeah. I was right before we recorded, I went back and I was skimming through the movie, trying to just pick up some key parts that I might have missed while watching it the first time. I did hear that this movie works really well if you're wearing headphones, because a lot of times when the characters are wearing headphones, there's like slight voices that you can hear or make out. Okay. That you can't really hear that well if you're watching it like on a TV.
Yeah. One thing I did like, and I like when movies do this, is when characters put on headphones and we're supposed to be like kind of like hearing what they hear. How like when they talked into like that microphone, how like it sounded like it came right from that microphone.
Yeah.
It didn't sound like it came from like a external boom like that we've been hearing for the majority of the movie.
Yeah, that was cool. It was like when Claire was walking around with that mic, and when she moved, like the sound would move and stuff.
It was pretty cool. I like that. I feel like a lot of movies that are going to do these like haunted investigations, they should do shit like that. So I'll give points for that.
Yeah. How did you feel about the two main characters, Luke and Claire?
They feel and sounded like people I've fucking worked with before. Like their little tendencies where they would like, where one of them would man the desk and the other one would try to run around and like ring the bell as fast as they can. Like just like stupid shit at work.
Yeah.
Like they're like the epitome of like the coworker friends. Like they may never be friends outside of work, but when they're at work, it's like, that's someone I could fuck with. Like they're chill.
Like they're homies.
Yeah.
But at work.
At work, yeah. Work homies.
Yeah, and I feel like throughout the movie, we kind of get that vibe that Luke is like, he likes Claire.
Like
Yeah, and I feel like he might be a little concerned that since they are just work friends, that once the inn closes down, they might like lose track, and he kind of like shoots a shot but doesn't really commit totally.
Yeah, because he's just like, I really like you, Claire. And she goes, yeah, I like you too. And he goes like, no, like you get me. And I feel like the moment he said that, it would have killed their friendship.
Yeah, but to her, I think, I don't know if it's just because they've been drinking, but she doesn't perceive that.
Doesn't even register.
No, to her it's just like friendly, because he's never really made any like intention of like saying that he's liked her in the past or anything.
Yeah.
Like to her, they're just like cool friends. But you kind of get, because like there is like an age gap there, like over 10 years, I think, between them. What I did like was how we learned that Luke is like, he has this blog or a website about the hotel.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like his purpose, I guess.
Yeah, so like while he's there, he's like trying to gain proof that there's this what's her name? Madeline O'Malley. Proof that she exists in the hotel. At least her spirit does.
Yes.
And Claire is not attracted to that, but she's very interested.
Yeah.
Like she will do research for him, basically. Like while he sleeps, like she's out there getting readings and stuff like that. But before that, we hear that he has seen her roam through the halls. And Claire is like, I'm so jealous. Like, that sounds so cool and stuff like that. So, like, you get the vibe that Claire is interested in what Luke is doing. But Luke doesn't look that interested in it. Like, he's more like, I need to make money off of this.
Yeah, and he's also, I feel like he's doing this to kind of come off as, like, a cool dude.
Yeah, I bet before this, he told Claire, like, yeah, I saw her. And he's like, I'm doing this blog thing. And then when she gained a little bit of interest, he's like, okay, now I'm going to do this more.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't think he would have committed to, like, doing this website or anything like that if she was not interested.
Yeah, because we learned fairly early that Luke hates web design, but he's like, but you get a lot of money into it, so he has to act fast.
Yeah.
And I think Claire says she's like a college dropout.
Yeah, I think she's, like, not pursuing anything right now.
Yeah, which is kind of cool, because not only does this movie tackle ghosts, like, very, like, obviously, it's like, it's a ghost movie, but I feel like there's an underlying message of being inadequate, like, and not having a purpose in life, and maybe that it's scarier in itself, because Luke is this, like, 30-something-year-old who's still working at probably the same job he had, like, out of high school, and Claire is pretty content at working at the hotel, up to a point where a character points out, like, but what are you doing in life? And she's like, oh, I work here. But she's like, no, but, like, do you want to be an actress? And I feel like she's never really thought about that. And then when she, like, someone points that out to her, it, like, something, like, clicks in her, and it makes her, like, depressed. This is, like, a horror movie speaking to, like, the millennials.
Yeah. I definitely, like I've left, my retail job and stuff like that, but there's still people there that have been there before I started, which was like 7 years ago, and that are continuing to still be there.
Yeah.
Which is like, to me, it's a little insane to do something like, these people, at least in this movie, they look like they kind of like their job.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's an easy job.
Yeah, it's an easy job. If it pays the bills, you'll like it, stuff like that. I feel like there's always, you need like a backup plan. But I feel like at no point someone with a higher status can come over to you and be like, yeah, but what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, because like just because you're not doing anything extravagant or like crazy intelligent doesn't mean like you're inadequate. But someone can make you feel that way though.
Yeah,
especially because she was like, because like, there's an actress that comes in and she's like, I love you, you're amazing. And then when the actress kind of was like, yeah, but do you really want to work here forever? I was like, oh no, my idol just shattered my life.
Yeah, and I feel like while we were watching that movie, that part of the movie kind of resonated with me like a little bit, because I was just like, yeah, I currently work at a job where it's like I'm not in love with it. It pays the bills. It's like not hard. It's a pretty easy job, but it does make me feel like, what is like my purpose? Like, what am I doing here? Yeah. And I feel like this is like targeted to people in my shoes, where it's like you're in your mid-20s, and that's like at the point where a lot of people start questioning their lives and they're like, is this what I'm doing? Am I gonna like pursue something greater, or am I stuck here just like the ghosts are stuck here?
Yeah. Oh damn, I never thought about like the people stuck in the job or like the ghosts.
Yeah. So like the ghosts, they're also stuck there haunting this place, seeing people come in and out of the hotel while they're always there.
Yeah. Oh,
so it's like,
shit.
Yeah.
Interesting little take.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, and it's just because, and I've had these like thoughts because we took a break from watching a movie and recording. So during that day, I feel like I've been like just listening to interviews from the director and some of the cast, and like thinking back on the movie and like rewatching some clips. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like I get this movie kind of.
Okay.
The older actress you mentioned that shows up and kind of beats down Claire, her character's name is like Leanne Rhys-Jones.
Yeah.
And she's supposed to be this actor who was very famous or popular, at least to Claire, but now doesn't do that anymore and has like this new purpose in life. And she's played by Kelly Mcgillis. I don't know if you recognize her at all.
Not at all.
She's from Top Gun.
Oh shit, is she?
Mm-hmm. Damn. Yeah, she's been like in a few other roles, but I heard when they were casting for this specific character, they were calling older actors and stuff, and a lot of them felt insulted by like this character because they didn't want to be this character that is supposed to be a washed up actor.
Yeah, I guess like you don't want to play like what might happen to you.
Yeah, and a lot of them wanted, if they did agree to be in this movie, they wanted like dialogue to be changed a little bit. And Ty West was like, no. So when they found her, I think he was saying how they were like Skyping or something, and she was like smoking, and she like blew smoke at the camera. She was like, all right, I'll do it.
That's sick.
So I feel like a lot of the actors in this movie play their character.
Yeah, almost like they were like not born to play it, but this was like the right time for them to play these characters.
So, there's a couple other parts where I really enjoy Claire. I think she might be my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, no, she definitely drives the movie.
Yeah.
Because, like, the movie is set up like a play. And for the first two acts, it's mainly... We do follow her for the whole movie. But she kind of is, like, the person on screen doing things. Yeah. And it's, like, mundane tasks.
Yeah.
Greeting people at the hotel, getting towels for the guests, taking the garbage out, and just kind of like, and then in between, it's like figuring out there's a ghost or having some witty banter with Luke. And it's like, at one point, I looked at the clock, I was like, when the fuck is anything going to happen? So I was like, to me, it was like, I did not expect it to be as like, because it was slow burn, but there was also like not a lot going on. Yeah. Like it kind of stagnated for a long time, and then all of a sudden, okay, now we have stuff happening, and it was almost like about time. And then when that stuff happened, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was looking at some of like people's opinions and thoughts on this movie, and it seems like this movie is very split with how people feel about it. Some people hate it. They hate the slow burn part of it. They think it's really boring, and it's just like a waste of time. And other people see it as like this like amazing movie that might be like one of the best ghost movies in the last 20 years.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm kind of impartial. I don't think it's the greatest like ghost story, but I also don't think it was that boring. I agree it is a slow burn.
Yeah.
And like there isn't much going on, but when there isn't a lot of stuff going on, I'm still kind of like I'm into the movie because of the characters and like how they act.
Yeah.
Like the garbage scene, right? Where she takes the trash to the dumpster.
And like it's like leaking.
Dude, that was the most relatable thing.
It was so relatable. Like I don't know how many times I've taken garbage out at jobs where I'm like looking around, make sure no one can see me, and I'm holding it away from me. It's leaking. It smells bad, and like you can't get it in there. Like it was perfect.
And that scene ends with like a double whammy. It's like not only was she like seen doing this like embarrassing thing, but she was seen by someone that she respects, and that person's just like staring her at the window, and she's like, "Fuck, man!" And now this person really thinks I am a loser.
Yeah.
And during the scene, we see that she hears like a thumping, right?
Yeah.
When she's walking back inside the inn, and she goes, and there's these like two doors that lead to the basement, and lets them out, and opens up, and then a crow pops out.
Yeah, some bird hits her.
Yeah, and so she decides to like close it up and lock it, and she locks it with like an actual lock this time.
Yeah.
Which ends up being like her doom in the end.
So, can we talk about the ending? So, here's what I thought was going to happen. And I was going to be like, it was going to be a 180 shift of how I felt about the movie right at the end. Because I feel like the first two acts, when you say it's a slow burn, it stagnates. It was not a bad movie. I've seen worse.
Yeah.
But then when the ending and the shit happens finally, so she goes into the basement. Well, she falls down the basement because a ghost scares her. And then she's being chased by Madeline O'Malley's ghost. And then when she makes it back up to like the cellar stairs to leave, like how you said, she locked it from the outside earlier in the movie. So she doomed herself.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a time loop movie at the end. Like the banging that she heard early in the movie was her at the end of the movie. That's what I thought they were gonna do, and I was like, that's cool. Like she's already like stuck here in this like I don't. But who knows? Maybe that is like a hint or something. Because when she hears the banging in like the beginning of the movie, we don't see anything. She opens up. It's a dark cellar, and then that bird gets whipped at her.
All right. So you ready to have your mind blown right now?
What?
So earlier in the movie, when she gets spooked for the first time, and it's like during the piano.
Yeah.
Like, she's like recording stuff. Hears a piano in the headphones. When she takes them off, stops playing, and then it just like
I thought, yeah.
So she like runs up, wakes up Luke, and in turn wakes up Lee. When she goes to Lee's room and she's talking about ghosts and stuff, and Lee kind of comes off as skeptical, but we find out that she's like a spiritual kind of person, and she reveals to us that at least her belief is all time is happening at once. There is no past, there is no future.
We all exist in the moment.
We all exist in the moment, and we're all like divine beings. So there are no ghosts, we're just spirits. And when she asks Claire, and I just watched this scene, so this is why I know this. When she asks Claire to ask the spirits what they want, or ask them whatever, Lee kind of goes into a trance. And she says that there are 3 ghosts at the end. And that time is happening all at once. So what she says is, they won't say who they are, but there are 3 of them. They want to live.
Just like she does. I remember she said that.
And a mistake is in the basement, and you mustn't go down there. You can't save her. They try to warn her, and they try to help her. And Claire is like, who are they? Like, what do they want? So after rewatching that, the ghosts weren't bad. They weren't like trying to haunt Claire. They were trying to warn her not to go into the basement because she's gonna die. And at the end of the movie, it's not ghosts that are like pounding at the door. It's Luke who's trying to save her because he's like, I heard her pounding and like I was trying to help her. And it's not the ghost that killed her. She died of an asthma attack.
Yeah.
She didn't have her inhaler. So when later on in the movie, when Lee goes back into the basement after Claire asked her to come with her, and she's swinging her pendulum and it breaks, she could hear pounding and like someone yelling, and that's Claire.
Oh, shit.
And that's why Luke's like, you knew this was going to happen, and you didn't do anything. Lee's like, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't save her because since time is happening all at once, she knew that was her fate and that she was going to die at this hotel.
Damn.
Yeah.
Shit.
Isn't that like fucking mind-blowing?
Yeah, it is. I wish the movie did a little bit more for that.
Yeah, and I guess I was like hearing other people talk about it, and it's like that's why you're supposed to watch this movie with headphones on, because like you hear all this dialogue, and like sometimes when you hear like banging and stuff, that's Claire. And like when she says that there are 3 ghosts, which is Madeline O'Malley, the guy who kills himself, and Claire. There are 3 ghosts that have always been there.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Kind of insane.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I like that. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, when you tell someone, oh no, you have to watch this movie with headphones, like
I don't know if you have to. I think it just like enhances it.
I know. That just stinks to me that like I miss things because I'm watching it on a TV. Or like when someone says like, oh, you didn't watch it in black and white, you missed all the, and I was like, fuck, dude, like I don't want to have to watch it in a certain way all the time. Yeah,
and I think that's just like how Ty West makes his movies.
I think
he makes his movies where it's like you have to pay attention. Like this is one of those movies like his previous movie, and I'm assuming X, where it's like if your intention isn't completely on this movie, you will miss some spots where it's like it might change your opinion on the movie, where you might hate it or you might like it, just because of like one part of dialogue.
Yeah, and like I like to think I was paying attention for a majority of the movie. Slow burn movies are very tough.
They are.
And the only time like you kind of get all your attention back is when something happens on screen or like witty dialogue or something sticks out. And yeah, you know what? After you brought up that whole like interaction with Lee and Claire and like where she was like, "There's 3 ghosts." Now that you said that, I do remember that, and I didn't even question the 3rd ghost because we don't even see him. But dang,
that's kind of wild.
You know what? After you explained all this, my opinion on the movie does not change.
Okay,
but it helps. What I will say when we give final thoughts.
I know when we were watching the movie, we were kind of confused on the old man.
Yeah.
And like what his purpose is in the movie. And
like immediately when he came on screen, I was like, he's dead.
Yeah.
But then he's not.
Yeah.
Because they wheel out like a fresh dead body at the end of the movie.
Well, it was still him.
Yeah.
Because that was like the next morning. But
like I thought he was a ghost when he showed up and that there was no body.
Yeah. See, it's like he wasn't, but at the same time he was a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, his character was, I know we were thinking that, oh, is he the husband that stood the Madeline O'Malley up? But it's like, no, because she died in the 1800s.
Yeah, so there's no way.
It was just a separate incident that he had his like honeymoon there and he like missed his wife.
Oh, okay.
So he just like decided to end it there.
Did you read the note all the way through?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I know Claire, when they're trying to leave the hotel, Claire picks up a note and it was like, he obviously wrote something for his like deceased wife. It was like, darling, but it doesn't give you enough time to read the whole note because she picks it up and then immediately puts it down. Like, you're like, no, pick it back up.
Yeah, I wanted to read what it said.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's kind of like a farewell note, well, like a suicide note, but like towards his like deceased wife. And that part, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty gory right there.
Yeah.
I don't want to trigger anyone listening, but like suicides in the bathtub done in that way always make my skin crawl.
There was a lot of blood.
Like I watched that 13 Reasons Why when that came out, and when like it got to like the final to that point, I was like, and they showed all of it, I was like, ugh, like I don't know. Like to this day, I hold my wrists when I watch stuff like that.
And I think it's like, since this movie was so tame up until that point,
it's very jarring.
It's so jarring, where it's almost to the point where it makes you feel very uncomfortable. Because after that, we immediately see Madeline O'Malley, who hung herself, and her ghost is hanging there, which is also very jarring. And it's just like, oh my god, all this is happening all at once.
Yeah. I also want to point out, like when we're in like the third act part, Luke and Claire, they're drinking. Yeah. And they go down to the basement, and they're like, oh, if you're here, Madeline, like give us a sign and stuff like that. And you can see Luke is like, just like, you can see he's terrified. He's shaking and he's like just staring like straight ahead, like blanking and stuff like that. And I really did like that, because his character almost was like a 180 on, like, he was like cool as a cucumber. Yeah. And now he's like shaking like a dog.
Dude, that was super, I feel like impactful. Like when they're down in the basement. Yeah. And he's like, you can see like his lip is quivering.
Yeah, no, that was pretty good acting. And then one thing I did like about that scene was it's focused on just their faces, Luke and Claire's. And Luke almost seems like, you know, he's like, I'm not looking anywhere else. I'm looking straight ahead of Claire. Yeah. That's it. And Claire like looks off to it, and he's like, oh, I see Madeline. She's like right behind you. And then now that you bring that all up, I wonder if that's almost like, oh, like get out of here kind of thing. Because then they leave the basement, and then maybe it's like, all right, we did it. Job well done, guys. Like ghost high five, and then they fucking come back.
Yeah, man. That whole part where they're drinking, Luke is like professing like he likes Claire. They end up going to the basement, and they have like this like seance thing, and he leaves her there.
I thought that was wild.
That was fucking insane, because it just shows like he's like, that's how cowardly this character is. And he's just like, that's where you find out that he never believed in ghosts.
He never saw Madeline.
No, he was just making all this bullshit up for the website and to like impress Claire. And now that it's like serious, and like it's actually, he finds out it's actually haunted, he's out.
He's like, fuck that.
He's like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, I know. I wonder, like I feel like the ending is done pretty like nicely, like the whole act and stuff like that. I just wish there was just a little bit more of like the ghostly encounter stuff sprinkled throughout the beginning and middle of the movie.
Yeah.
That's my only gripe with the movie.
Yeah, I could see that. I do agree. While we were watching the movie, like the first 2 acts, we get backstory. Kind of. I think it's mostly just made for you to like get to know these characters. Like another like First Cow instance, where it's like it takes a while. Yeah. Because you want to get to know these characters, because in the end, it's gonna hurt so much more knowing that Claire dies. Yeah.
I did not expect her to die.
No, because that's not what this movie was like leading up to.
Yeah, because like, I don't know, like she gave me Final Girl vibes, and seeing as she was the only girl, well, I guess Lee was there, but the only like young girl, you know, usually it's like a young blonde Final Girl. She's gonna make it through the shit, and then like she just dies. I was like, damn. But I understand why they don't show us how she dies, because like they leave it up for like till the end, where they're like, yeah, she didn't have this on her, and he pulls out her inhaler, and you're like, oh shit.
You know, I was thinking how like some people thought that maybe she made all this up. This is like all in her head, and like she wasn't actually like haunted, and there were never any ghosts or not. And some people think that no, there was definitely ghosts there, and it's like, it's up to you. Like it's supposed to be like kind of a vague ending, because you don't see how she dies, or anything. Well, you kind of get like it's assumed that she died of an asthma attack because they find her inhaler and she couldn't get to it in time. But I like how it is left in like ambiguity of like not knowing exactly what happened, and it's like not knowing if these ghosts were like actually harmful because they don't say anything and they don't directly interact with her other than like a few scares here and there. Like the old man, when he dies, he's just seen behind her. He doesn't like reach for her. He's like kind of following her. He's not like running after her. It's like you see him behind her at the top of the stairs, and then when she's running in the basement, he comes out again.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like for ghosts trying to warn someone to get out, they did a bad job.
They did a really bad job.
Because it's like, why would you stand behind someone who's like looking down a flight of stairs?
So if Claire didn't die at the end of the movie, would that have changed your opinion at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know. Yeah. No, I guess it really wouldn't change too much. Mm-hmm. Because her death is to me not super impactful for the ending. Mm-hmm. Maybe, we would just kind of, but then we would get one of those instances where it's like no one's gonna believe you kind of thing. And so I don't know. I guess that's a tough one. I guess I'd like to see how he would have handled it, like keeping her alive in the end.
Okay, what for you? What was like the high point of this movie?
The high point?
Yeah. Where you're like, okay, even though I'm not digging this movie entirely, like this part is like, that's it.
See, that's kind of tough because I have not high point, but I have a point in the movie where I liked it during the slow part and then during like the ending sequence. The ending sequence where where Lee's like, we got to get out of here. And then, like, she's, like, frantically running around the halls. And then she runs up to the old guy's room. Yeah. Like, to me, that was, like, pretty, like, all right, my blood's pumping a little bit. Let's see what happens. So, like, that. So, basically, the whole, like, I guess you would say, like, chase part, like, the running around was pretty fun to watch. Just because, like, the way she, like, busts into the old guy's room, she's like, hey, I got to step out for a little while. Yeah. Like, it's not like, hey, we got a fire drill or something. No. Let's go. More like him leaving, and you're the only one that's gonna be here.
Yeah, I love how awkward she is.
Oh, she's so awkward. But she fits the part so well of like being like someone in this like industry. Because like I don't know how many times I've stayed at hotels and motels where it's like the person checking me in doesn't make eye contact. They like stutter. They give me like the key, and then I'm just like, yes, 5 stars. I got what I wanted.
So this movie doesn't have a lot of scares, but the few scares that it does have, I personally really liked. I don't know how you felt about the scares.
I liked the part where Claire's walking around with the little radio. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, it's like
a little EMP thing. Yeah, it's like a little microphone and stuff. But that's the part during the slow burn I liked, where we see her by herself doing it, and she's walking around and stuff like that. Maybe kind of like the sound design for it. Yeah. And you hear the ominous cries in the distance and stuff like that. And it's funny because like it's a noise that could easily get lost in translation of like life. Yeah. If that hotel was busy, you would not hear the bellow, like the very soft bellowing cries or like the very faint piano playing. And I do like when she like hears the piano, she takes her headphones off and she can't hear it anymore. When she puts it back on, she can hear it. Meaning that like not everyone's gonna hear this. It's like hidden. So I like that part. That was cool.
Yeah, the scare I liked, which is a jump scare, but I feel like it's an earned jump scare, is when Claire is, I think she's like going to the laundry room because she hears banging and stuff, and then Luke shows up behind her, and he's like, hey, I'm right behind you. I don't want to scare you. And she like freaks out, which I really like that jump scare because it happens so often.
Where like you turn around and it's just another main character there. And you're like, oh shit.
Like even in real life, I feel like sometimes when we're walking around, I could be like soft-footed at times and I'll freak someone out and I'm like, I know I'm gonna scare them and I don't want to, so I'll say that I'm here. Yeah. But in turn of you saying you're there, you freak them out even more.
Yeah, I know. I do that at work sometimes, right? I know I'm trying to get this person's attention, and I don't want to like make them jump. So like maybe I'll like walk closer to them, maybe like the corner of their eye they'll see me, but they usually jump. Or if I go, hey, I'm behind you, they, oh fuck.
Yeah. Do you have any other things you want to like talk about the movie or mention?
I think I got a lot of it out.
Yeah.
I think so.
I will say, like, the last thought I have on this movie is, even though this movie takes place in 2011, 2010.
It feels like it takes place like 90s.
Yeah. And I guess it's because Ty West doesn't like technology in movies.
Yeah.
So, and
I do like that they never pulled out a phone.
Yeah, he makes a good point in one of, like, the interviews I read was, because people were like, why don't they have phones? It's supposed to be like modern times. It's like, well, they're at work.
Yeah.
Like, would you be on your phone at work? It's like kind of like, it's one of those things.
Yeah. But then again, it is like the last weekend this place is open and stuff.
Well, I mean, they have a laptop.
I guess so.
And there's some very interesting links on that laptop. So we'll get to that after this break.
Yes.
All right, and we're back to the trivia portion of the show. All right, Nick. So here is some trivia that I found. So you know all of those like old black and white photos that we see throughout the movie?
Yeah.
Those are actually authentic photos of the actual like end.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so it's like, I think in the beginning we see them, and then in the hall we see more of them. And it's kind of cool because it's like, the older the photos, it's like the inn looks newer, but then the newer the photos, the inn looks more decrepit. So it's like kind of cool how like that happens. The first scare that we get in this movie is when Luke appears on screen for the first time, and he's like eating like a Slim Jim kind of thing. At first I couldn't figure out what I thought it was like a Twizzler. No, it's just like some Slim Jim like product.
Yeah, it looked like a beef jerky or something.
Yeah, apparently it was really disgusting, and he ate like 13 of those.
Jesus.
One of the scares that I really liked in this movie was when Luke is like, oh hey, I found some ghost footage, and he's like showing Claire, and Claire's like paying attention to the laptop, and she's like looking at it very
it's like the video of the rocking chair,
which it's really funny because like it's a real like viral video that was around, and like I don't know if you ever saw it before.
I never saw that one. I have seen the one that's that windy road where the camera's following the car. I've seen that one like a million times. Yeah,
this one was like a viral video that I've seen before, so I kind of knew what was gonna happen.
I knew what was gonna happen because like whenever you show some of those videos and you go pay attention, so you get them really focused on like looking around intently, and then all of a sudden if like the face pops up.
So that was Sara Paxton's first time watching that video. So her like scream is genuine. She was actually freaked out.
That's sick.
Yeah, which is funny because I guess on the commentary she was saying that even now when she like watches it, she always jumps and she says like she hates it so much.
Oh man.
Yeah, because I guess she's like really like she likes horror movies, but she's like kind of like a scaredy cat.
That's cool. I like hearing when like actors or actresses are like, yeah, my own movie will make me scared or something like that. Like they're really like into that shit.
Yeah,
it's cool.
And I like how this that shot where it lingers so much on that video, it kind of gets like brought back again at the end of the movie.
During the epilogue.
Yeah. Did you notice something in that room?
I was staring intently, and I was like, it's gonna make me jump.
Yeah.
But then like when the door closes, like I didn't see anything. I think, does the curtain move a little bit?
So I was watching a GIF earlier of that scene, and it's Claire. She's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's her outline of her ghost.
Is it by the curtain?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's staring out the window, and you see her just like staring. If you look like closely enough, you could see it. And then when she turns and looks at the camera, that's when the door slams.
Oh, okay, but it's very faintly there.
It is very faint, and it's so faint to the point where some people have like talked to Ty West and are like, "Hey, I think you fucked up. Like, we can't see what's going on." And the other people are like, I can see it. I think you fucked up. Like, it's too visible. So he's just like, Ty West is kind of just like, if you see it, good. If you don't see it, good. It doesn't matter. It's just one of those things where it's like a reward on like the rewatch. Like some people have said they've seen the movie 4 times, and then like the 5th time, that's when they finally saw Claire.
I would never watch this movie that many times.
So I know I mentioned that the entire crew stayed at the end while they were filming this movie. They all had their dogs too.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they all had their dogs. Paxton's dog is named Balls.
Balls.
I thought that was super funny.
Little balls.
Yeah.
Hanging out with everybody.
And I guess a lot of like the younger people who were on the set were like stayed up all night and they were like partying and stuff. And then like some of the other people, like the character who plays Lee, the actor who plays Lee, was like, yeah, we're kind of rowdy. They're trying to go to bed.
That's sick.
One of like the few things that happen on set that Paxton says, she's not sure if this is true or not, but apparently at 3 a.m. every night, Ty West's phone would go off and it would ring. And like no one could figure out why. And she was like, I don't think it was anyone involved in production, because like when you're on set, you need your sleep. So who's going to like sacrifice the sleep for like this long gag?
Yeah. So they were there for 18 days, and every day his phone rang at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
No, that's the witching hour, they say. So.
Yeah, and I did say like the Yankee Peddler Inn is a real place and it's supposed to be haunted by multiple ghosts.
Maybe 3.
Yeah, I don't know. The staff do believe it's haunted. And I guess the town also believes it's haunted. It's like one of like their attractions.
Yeah. I guess not very big attraction nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I know it kind of stinks, like these like attractions that are like kind of like their hauntings are like, hey, the reason to show up, or maybe the reason to stop by and stuff. That shit only gets bigger on one time a year, you know, for like Halloween and everything. And it's like, I want like hauntings to be normalized like during the summer. Yeah. Because that's when people have time for like vacations and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like because like you asked me whatever, say like a hotel that was haunted. Would you ever like go on like a haunted trip where you would hit multiple locations and stuff like that?
I would.
Because like I know wherever the murder house for American Horror Story is filmed, I know they do like a murder tour of like all these like famous like haunted / like serial killer things and shit like that. And it's like I would do that in a heartbeat. And I wish there was more stuff like that like closer to me.
Yeah, man, I don't know of any close to here.
Because like we have the state penitentiary around here in PA, but besides that, it's like you have like the abandoned rail yard, and then we used to have Graffiti Highway, which wasn't haunted, but was a really cool like abandoned attraction. You know,
spooky.
I think at night it would have been spooky, but during the day there's so many fucking people there. Like have you ever seen pictures of it? No. It's basically like a big long street that's abandoned, and like it's like on the side of like a highway or a freeway, and so people just park their cars on the side and they just like walk through the grass to get to it.
Is this the one that's on the way to Centralia?
Yeah, but they got rid of it.
Oh, that sucks.
And it's because like people were parking on the side of this like really busy road and shit, and like it was basically like a big landmark. Hey, come graffiti here. Yeah. But it was like really cool. Like people would spray paint over each other's work because it was covered. Like really, like the beginning all the way to the end, it was covered. It was really cool.
That's a bummer they got rid of that.
Yeah, I feel like they could have like I don't know done something to like keep it alive or I don't know.
Maybe they could restart it.
But like right near there, it's like right next to like this little abandoned town. And there's like 2 people that live there. Yeah,
that's something I would be down to check out. I feel like that would just be cool, like history wise.
It's weird when you go to places with like low population and stuff, because you see like where houses used to stand, and it's not like rubble; it's like gone. Yeah, and you're like, holy shit! And they have a church there that was like gated, so you couldn't go. But there's like a like grave sites, like a cemetery, my bad. And it's weird because like thinking about like that cemetery, like almost I believe like 90% or more of the people buried there, no one knows who they are. Like their families and their families are all gone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like there's like no more people who like know who they are really.
That's
like,
insane.
Like there's names, but that's it. Like that's kind of like an insane thing to think about. It's like here you have like a big plot of land full of buried people, and now there's no one left alive that remembers who they are.
That's kind of scary to think about.
Yeah. And then like I thought about like I was like, well, I want to be cremated, and I'm thinking like, but wait, when eventually everyone who has met me goes, it's like, are they gonna keep my ashes?
Yeah.
Like,
they'll just leave it at a Taco Bell.
Oh, that'd be sick. Sprinkle me in the Denny's parking lot, please.
Here's another trivia for you. So, Sara Paxton,
and
the main girl who played Claire, she was almost recast.
Oh no!
Because Ty West did not like her scream. He said that it sounded more comical than terrifying. So he was looking for more of like a scream queen. But I think people on set liked Claire's scream because it seemed more realistic. Because like in real life, people don't have like blood curdling scream. It's more like hers, where it's like kind of goofy, like, and maybe not in the moment because it's like a scary thing going on. But like looking back on it, it's like, yeah, man, she laughs really funny.
Yeah, I know every time like, cause like I get scared and like I jump, or I've only ever had a couple movies that make me actually audibly yell. But sometimes, like I do remember one time I was watching a movie, and the person I was watching with, they were like, they paused because they thought my yell was really funny, and I was like, I wasn't trying to put on like an act or a facade, like that's just how it is. Like they described it as like a grown man yipping, and I was like, okay, well, first of all, rude, but like a second of all, like I don't have a fucking scream, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess like hearing that, I'm glad, because it didn't sound like, every time she like did it, I didn't was like, haha, that's funny. I was just like, oh, okay, thank God it's not ear piercing.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of like it was like scary at the time, but like looking back at it and like watching some clips now, it's like it is kind of funny.
I can see that,
because she's kind of like a Scooby-Doo character when she like runs away and stuff.
Oh my God, yeah, the way she runs.
Yeah.
She's very comical when she runs.
Even like some of the music in it, I couldn't help but like compare it to like the Ghostbusters music, where it's like, because the music in it, it's like very goofy, almost like Gremlinsy. It's like so the coffee shop where Claire goes for
I was
latte.
gonna bring up the coffee shop.
So it's a real location, and when they were filming, it was frequented by West and all the people on the production and stuff, and it was the only place that was still in business when they returned to film this movie. So when they were filming The House of the Devil, that's where like all the production crew would go, and then when they came back, it's like the only place that was still open.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
What I do like about that, because we only see the coffee shop once, very briefly, very awkwardly.
Yeah.
And it's like when Claire goes in, gets her large soy mocha with the 1 pump of caramel, and the barista turns and starts like venting about her boyfriend.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
So like you definitely know that like Claire has been to this coffee shop a couple times.
Yeah.
And so has Luke, because they kind of like, they do what I remember doing when I used to work with a bunch of people, was like we would get food on break, and when we'd come back, we'd be like, oh yeah, like that, I can't believe that bitch still works at whatever and stuff. And they were just kind of ripping on that girl, and I was like, I remember doing that.
What I like is what's implied after that scene is, because when she was like talking about her boyfriend, it's like, yeah, my boyfriend hasn't like said he loves me. I mean, he said it through I am, which is like another thing that dates the movie. Because who says I am?
I know. Like, I think that's like a thing that like you should like go and talk to like 16-year-olds, be like, what's an I am?
Yeah.
They'd be looking like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Because it's like 2011. It's like MySpace was gone. It's Facebook.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's using AOL either. Like,
no.
like when you say I am, like, do you just think like
instant
MySpace.
messaging.
Yeah, but like what like do you think of normally? Because every time I hear IM, I just think of the AOL chat rooms.
Yeah, AOL or MySpace.
Yeah. See, I never had a MySpace. My mom wouldn't let me.
Yeah, because I think when Facebook came out, I think from the beginning it might have just been Messenger. I have said I am on Facebook before. Like, oh hey, I am me. Like later.
Yeah. It's really funny because like I don't know how about you, but like people really don't text me anymore. It's more like Messenger.
Yeah.
Or like Discord. And I think that's really funny because like everyone who messages me, they have my phone number too. And it's like they just don't want to text.
Yeah,
I think that's really funny.
I have a friend who like exclusively only messages me on Snapchat.
I fucking hate that because like, so I work night shift, so I'll get up and people will be messaging me on Snapchat, and I'm like, well, I better save everything so that when I wake up, I know what I'm talking about. And like the one guy I talked to, he's like, stop saving our messages. Yeah. And I was like, why? We're talking about anything illegal. He goes, no, it's weird. I'm like, what? He's like, the point of Snapchat is it disappears. I was like, well, why do you want to have a conversation with me?
Yeah, because I hate it because, like, I'll always forget what we were talking about. So I'm always just like,
100%.
All right, cool, dude.
And then you turn around and you're like, I forgot their name.
Yeah. But what I like about that scene is when she goes back to the inn, Luke's like, hey, where's your coffee? So it implies that she left like either mid-conversation or did not wait around for her coffee because she was like so over it.
Oh my god, I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, because she just like slumps down. He's like, where's your coffee? So I'm like, I love Claire. I love that she's like, that coffee shop dead. Can never go back again.
She's so ditzy.
Yeah, because I think she's like, oh yeah, they were out of coffee.
Oh.
That's
sick.
That's all the trivia I have. So let's get into like our final thoughts and what we rate it. So you go first, Nick.
Okay. So I like the movie. Do I think it is all right? So if I just like always, if I was building a collection, no, I would not put it in there.
Okay.
Only because it's like for me. And I'll probably say this a million times for as long as podcast. For me, a collection is movies that I kind of want to rewatch again or show people. I would have no interest showing this to anybody. Only because slow burns are tough. But also, when I want to show someone a horror movie, I want to show like an exciting one.
Yeah.
But this movie is not bad, and I think a lot of people would like it. Because sometimes you don't need scares every 20 seconds or you don't need jump scares constantly or blood and gore, and this movie shows it, that you could have a movie that was entertaining enough to watch it all the way through with only picking my phone up one time, and it got the job done. Talking about the movie more and all like the things that were kind of like hidden behind the scenes and the extras and like if you paid attention, I think this movie was a good lesson of like, next time we watch a slow burn or something that's not like in your face, I am going to try to pay attention more, go into it with all right, but what if they hid something here? And maybe next time I'll do some research for a movie too, because like it sounded like you had a lot of fun like looking at stuff. Yeah. And so like that's why it's like I would say like if you could put the time in to like get all facets of this movie, then yeah, definitely it's a good movie.
Yeah. I feel like my opinion definitely changed a lot after rewatching the movie and learning more about it. Originally, I thought it was an okay movie. Didn't think it was anything special. After rewatching it and picking up a lot of the things I missed, I was like, actually, I love this movie. I think I love it because it's like, I think it's funny. I think like the pacing is not too bad. And I think it's just like very, it relates to me a lot. To a point where I haven't had a movie relate to me on a personal level, like for a long time. I think the last movie was like Clerks. Like I like really liked Clerks from the first day I saw it. So this movie like reminded me of that a lot too.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies where I feel like I will rewatch it, and it might even go into my rotation of Halloween movies.
Oh, okay.
Like I could see this like putting this on if I'm staying home and there's like trick-or-treaters. Like it's like, oh, this is like a kind of like fun, spooky movie where I could watch it. I don't care if people aren't paying attention because it's like there's elements where it's like funny.
Yeah.
And like people will laugh and it's like There's a couple of scares in there, but not too intense where some people will be put off by it.
Yeah, I do think it's funny. So like you said, you keep in a Halloween rotation. If you just turn this movie on to like any point in like the middle section of the movie, someone would be like, so when are we putting a horror movie on?
Yeah.
Like, unless it got to like the part where they were like investigating. But yeah, like there are just like random moments where you're like, what's the genre of this movie?
I would put this with the rotation of Halloween Town, Ghostbusters, those kind of Halloween movies. Where it's not necessarily a horror movie where it's kind of like make your heart race, but it's like one of those like gets you in the mood.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
I don't like it enough to upgrade it. I think the DVD is like fine.
Yeah. You have a cool cover for it.
I love the cover so much.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, the cover and the rating were the reasons why I was like, you should put this on the wheel.
Yeah.
Because like the rating was all over the place. Like Dude. I saw a 9 and I saw like I think it was like a 2.
I think it goes from like 55% to like 78% to like I think on IMDb it's like a 5.5. It's insane how like all over the place this rating is.
Yeah.
I think I would give this movie, if we were to give it out of 5, I would give it like a 3.5.
Yeah, I think I'd give it like a 2.8 to 3.
Okay. Yeah, it's like not terrible.
It's very middle of the road. Like I said, I think I'd like it more if there was just more stuff going on. Like not saying like you do jump scares and stuff, but just a little bit more ghosty stuff sprinkled in. And I think I'd give it a little bit higher rating. Maybe I'll solidify it at a 3.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that was The Innkeepers. Pretty good movie. We both never saw it before, so I was like very pleasantly surprised. Feel like you could have I feel like maybe if you rewatch it, maybe your opinion will change. I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like rewatching a movie like really close after already watching it one time is a little rough for me because I'm like a little tired of it, you know? Like I have my favorites, but I can't watch them consistently, like month to month. I need a long break between them. Like,
gotcha.
Like whenever Mean Girls pops up, like that's gonna be like my yearly watching of it. But I can't do like a monthly watching.
All right. Well, let's find out what we're gonna watch next week. This is gonna be our 9th movie.
What do we got?
So, a lot of recycled movies. We got The Others, Charlie's Angels, Attack the Block, Shin Godzilla, Crawl is Back, They Live. We got Scooby-Doo again, and then we got the Tooth Fairy again.
Which Tooth Fairy?
The Rock one.
Okay.
I think that was someone's pick. That they wanted that on the wheel.
I think so.
All right, so let's give this bad boy a spin and see what we have. It's Crawl.
Sick.
Oh, man, I am excited for this movie. I haven't seen it since I saw it in movie theaters.
So, last episode where we added it and I kind of got a little, like, excited. So, I've never seen it.
Okay.
I've only seen trailers. And I do remember thinking to myself, I was like, this movie looks so bad. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of those for sure.
So, it's an alligator movie or crocodile or whatever. And it's a survival movie. And I love those movies. Like, I love those, like, movies where it's like the sharks are attacking people and shit like that. Because it's just like, they're so dumb sometimes. That I love them.
Did you ever like watch American Dad?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that episode where there's like a hurricane and they're all trapped inside and like the house is flooded, but there's like a shark going around?
I do remember that episode.
It's basically that.
And people watching Shark are like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait, I can make a movie about that. I'll just replace the shark.
All right. Well, if you want to tag along with us and watch the movie, it's going to be Crawl. Talk about that next week. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we are But Is It a Good Movie? And on Twitter, we are But Good Movie.
But Good Movie. Ooh.
We're always open to any suggestions on movies. We love to hear recommendations of what to put on the wheel. If you really want to watch it, we might just like skip the wheel and just watch that instead. Please like rate and review us. Leave some reviews on Apple Podcasts. Anything you want to mention, Nick?
If you really want Scooby-Doo to be the next movie, cross your fingers, cross your heart, and maybe we'll get there.
Yeah, if Scooby-Doo ends up getting picked eventually, I feel like we should double feature that with Scooby-Doo 2.
Yeah, I think we should do a versus.
Oh, yeah.
I like to do that with like movies in the future. Is like pick like two, make them go up against each other.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
All right, guys. So we will talk to you next week. And remember to never skimp on the bread because you'll always regret it.
Wise words to live by, Claire.
All right, bye.
Peace out.